First off, I want to say happy 4th of July. Happy Independence Day. God bless America. And please protect us from all evils and be with our representatives and our leaders locally and nationally to keep us safe from all harm with God's provision. Today's going to be an interesting day. Hello family, welcome back. If you're new here, welcome. We're just going to spend a day in the kitchen. The husband did give me a couple requests that he wanted to have for dinner today and some leftovers through the week. So we're going to do our best to accommodate him. Stick around, it's going to be a great day, guys. Aprons on, let's get started. Sorry, I just stepped outside to look at the plant, so my glasses are a little dark. I have 4 onions left. I want to go ahead and get those chopped up and put in the freezer. And I have some garlic that have started to split, and I don't want to lose them. I think this one's pretty much gone, but we're going to try it anyway. And I want to go ahead and make these into little hockey pucks, get them in the freezer so I can just easy access garlic that's chopped up in some oil and get that in the freezer also. So all I gotta do is grab a puck, throw it in the pan, and have fresh / frozen garlic whenever I need it. So we're gonna start with the onions, and these are crying onions. I get these from Azure. They're an organic onions, and they're 10 pounds. I do share with my daughter in North Carolina, so every time we go down there, I always bring her some onions and some garlic. So let's get to chopping these onions up. So I have a bowl I'm going to put the chopped onions in, and I have a bowl that I'm going to put my scraps in, because I do save all the scraps for when I need to make chicken stock. Yeah, I need to hurry and get to these. I can feel it. It's starting to feel icky, or it's getting ready to start to feel icky. Yep. Whew, it's a good thing I got to this one. I am not saving the peeling from this because it's a little icky. I'm not going to save the ends either. This is going to go in the trash. Okay. Sorry, I'm like crying really bad right now. This one is trying to sprout. Ooh, it's a good thing we're getting to this today, or we would have lost these onions very quick. Alright, now when you're cutting onions, you want to have your hands in a claw. Because after I cut it lengthwise this way and I cut it crosswise, I want to keep my hands in a claw so that when I'm cutting it, the knife is up against this very first knuckle right here and not on my fingers. So that when I'm cutting it, my fingers are tucked in and I'm actually cutting it right up against my knuckle. And that's a safe way to chop anything to keep your fingers out of the way. So I'm cutting them lengthwise. And then I'm holding my hand in a claw and I'm cutting them crosswise. And this one kind of fell apart because I was talking more than chopping, but that's okay, we got this. Just know where your fingertips are and cut up against, get this out of the way, and just cut up against your knuckles. Alright, all the onions are done. Give my board a good wipe down and my knife a good wipe down. And now we're going to move on to the garlic. And because these are organic garlics, I'm sorry, my eyes. Eyes are wiped, nose is blown, hands are clean. So because my garlic is organic and I get this from Azure in a 5-pound bag at a time, I know the peeling is safe and the root end, even though there's some dirt there, it's okay. I will save all of this for my chicken stock. So we're just going to go in here and we're going to separate our cloves. I have another bowl here. We're going to put our peeled garlic in. And because I'm going to put this in the food processor, I don't need to leave them whole. They're going to be processed. So it's okay if I smush them. Makes it a whole lot easier to peel. And I'm just going to sit here and do all the garlic just like this. Sorry, I have glass jars right over there that needs to go in the pantry. So that's that ding sound you hear. Alright, let me get all this done. And then I'll bring you back when we're ready to move on to the next step to preserving this garlic. Okay, so if you're not buying your vegetables for your chicken stock, when you save the scraps, the onions, the garlic, the celery, and the carrots. If you're not buying organic, either locally at your grocery store or as I do from Azure Standard, then please don't save the root ends of your vegetables because it's grown in soil that's not organically maintained and you're going to be putting those chemicals in your stock. But because I buy my vegetables, or the majority of my vegetables, from Azure Standard in bulk, I know they are responsibly sourced and grown in an organic manner when I buy organic vegetables. So I save my root ends for my chicken stock. But please, don't save your root ends if you're not getting organic or a responsible resource of your vegetables. Just throw those root ends away and save everything else. So in this bowl I have all of my onion peels and my garlic peels, and I need to put this in a Ziploc bag so I could get it in the freezer for the next time we make stock. in the freezer. I like to put my onions in Ziploc bag with a 1 cup measuring cup. That way I know how much is in here for easy recipe building. Now, if you do this for your family, you would put it in increments that fit your meals. But 1 cup works for us just fine. And it's a little shy, but that's okay. So I got my bag labeled diced onions and today's date. So I have 6 1-cup bags of diced onions ready for the freezer. So I have my food processor. And yes, it's a very small food processor. I bought this maybe 15 years ago, and it works fine. One of these days I'll get the big full-size food processor, but in the meantime this works fine. I have olive oil and I have my garlic, and I'm lining a cookie sheet with parchment paper, and we're going to do this in batches because my food processor is small. So we're going to just put a handful of garlic in here. I'm going to start off with 3 tablespoons of olive oil. We're going to give that a whirl. Let's scrape down the sides. I think that's plenty oil, by the way. That is perfect. I have a secondary bowl. This is the same bowl that the onions were in, but it's okay. Oh yeah, that's perfect. Am I the only one that loves the smell of garlic? Leave a comment below if you're pro-garlic or anti-garlic. Right, we're just going to repeat this process until we get all this garlic chopped up. I absolutely love these little spatulas. I need to get more of these. This was actually a gift to a party that I went to for a friend of mine's 16th birthday, and I absolutely love it. Alright, so we got our baking sheet with our parchment paper. I have an 1/8 cup measuring cup, and this is basically 2 tablespoons. If you don't have this, you can use just a tablespoon and do them in 2, or make them, or you can just make it in the size that your family would use when you're doing cooking. But I think 1/8 of a cup will be perfect for us. Oh, goodness, that smells so good. I'm having a hard time to get them out of this little measuring cup, but we will get this. This will be the first time that I have done these little garlic pucks for the freezer, and I'm hoping they're going to stay in this shape once it's frozen, and that when I put them in a Ziploc bag, they will stay in this shape. That is the plan. We will see. 1/8 of a cup is too much. Just do it by the tablespoon. If 1/8 of a cup is not enough, then do it by 1/4 cup. Whatever you need for your family to have easy access, frozen, ready to use garlic so that you don't lose garlic because it's starting to sprout or rot. Whatever it takes to make sure you have what your family needs to make a delicious meal without losing any of your products. This is just another way of preservation. And one good thing is that we have the oil in here. So when we need to saute these, we do not need to add oil initially because we already have oil in our garlic. Alright, so I have 23 pucks. Now I'm just going to put this in the freezer just like this until they get frozen, and then I'll put these in Ziploc bags. So about 2 months ago, I bought this Rumiano organic sharp cheddar from Azure Standard, and I haven't got to it yet. I've been cutting pieces off of it, using it right then and there, but I need to get this shredded up and in Ziploc bags and put it in the freezer. So I have the shredder attachment to the KitchenAid. I'm gonna get this shredded. You've seen me shred cheese before. I'll put the link right up there when I bought the mozzarella a couple months ago, and we shredded all of that for pizzas and whatever. I put them in 2-pound Ziploc bags and 1-pound Ziploc bags. So go check out that video right there and you'll see just the way I shred the cheese. So I'm gonna go ahead and get this shredded up, and I'm not sure how much is here because like I said, we've been snacking on it. It's 4.9 ounces. Let me go ahead and get it cut up to fit into the chute of the shredder and get it all shredded up. Now this is a sharp cheddar, but it's not super sharp. Now if you like really sharp cheddar, this is not going to be sharp enough for you. But it will work for us just fine. I did put it in the freezer for about 20 minutes just to make it a little bit more firmer. Makes it easier and less messy to shred. Alright, now I'm just going to go ahead and start shredding this up. So I got all the cheese shredded, and I'm going to put them in Ziploc bags, and then I'll put all those bags, or as many bags as I can, into a gallon-sized Ziploc bag, put those in the freezer. You don't have to weigh this. You can actually eyeball it if you want to. Alright, so I got my scale tared off at 0. Just going to add the cheddar until I reach, I don't know, we'll see. Maybe I'll do 8 ounces. Yep, I think I'm going to do 8 ounces. And if I do need a pound, I'll just take 2 bags out. If I only need 8 ounces, I'll take 1 bag out. Alright, so we're just going to sit here and get this all done. Alright, that is 8 ounces. And we should have maybe 9 bags. No. Yeah, 9 bags. I had to think about that. So to store these in the freezer, I do close them about 3/4 of the way. This side is still open. And then I just try to squeeze as much of that air as possible. And then I finish closing it. Now I need to label these. Now I'm going to save 1 bag for dinner tonight, so that's just going to go in the refrigerator. Now I'm going to put these in the freezer. And just so you know, cheese, whether shredded, sliced, or left in the whole form, freezes well. Because I use the majority of my cheese in a shredded state to make a cheese sauce or for my pizzas or whatever the case may be, I just prefer it all shred. There are occasions where I would like to have sliced. I do not have a slicer in my house, so I can't do that. And then cutting it with the knife is not consistent, so I'm not going to do that. But you can freeze cheese, take it out, leave it on your counter for about an hour or two, and it's ready to go. Don't be afraid to buy in bulk if you have the freezer room. I went ahead and took some frozen dinner rolls out of the freezer. I do have videos of that, and about 2 months ago, and it's called Filling the Freezer with Breads and Such. And you'll see how I made the dinner rolls and how I froze them. Check that video out. So I have a glass casserole dish. I'm going to fill my olive oil up. Now because they are all frozen together, I'm going to have to let this thaw just a bit, and then we'll be able to break it open. But I'm going to get some plastic wrap. And just get that covered for right now. So I'm just going to leave this on top of the stove till I can get this separated. Alright, so the dinner rolls have thawed enough that I can separate them, and I am going to make sure I get oil all over them. Oh yeah, there we go. They're not ready to go in the oven. This is just for separation purposes. And I like to freeze mine in 8 packs. That is perfect for the husband and I to have for 2 meals. But please, if you make homemade rolls, just freeze it for what your family needs. Either for 1 meal, for 2 meals, or just, a couple days. And just making sure I get oil all over. We're going to cover it back up. Now we're going to let them rise. Our dinner breads are in the oven to rise and proof. Alright, so the grandkids are over here today, and we're going to go ahead and harvest the last 4 buckets of our potatoes. We've already done 1 and we got 3 more to go. A magical hand just shows up.
Did y'all get a lot of rain?
Yeah, we did actually. Short period of time, but a lot of rain.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, and a lot of thunder.
You got home before it all started though, didn't you?
Potato. Not tomato. Potato.
You got home before it all started though, didn't you?
Yeah, I mean, just in time, too.
Yeah. You still recording? Yeah. Oh wow, that's a lot.
A lot of potatoes.
That's a lot of them in that one. Oh wow.
It's like double the amount.
Hey Gary, you gotta pull that stuff off.
That's the original potato.
That's so crazy. There's a lot more on that side. You alright, Liam?
Yep.
This is fun. Ooh, I saw one on.
It was a little one.
You don't eat those, do you? Yeah, they're fine.
What, in now?
No.
No, you were not just. I saw another one. I thought that was.
Oh, right here.
I saw another like good size.
I know. I saw it. Put that probably right there. That's pretty cool. Yeah.
Okay, I need a puncher.
I'm starting to get a little hot.
Go in and get your bottle of water. Put up one of the packets and
You don't have to stay out here if you don't want to.
go in there with your dad. Ask your dad to make you a drink packet. Oh yeah, they got all them
Oh, there's a
potatoes.
lot.
Oh, that's a good one.
Oh, these are big ones. It's probably one of the best batches. I need help untying it.
Go inside and have your dad help you, baby.
Either him or Pepe.
Or Pepe. And then
Oh, that's not good. Right there, Mom.
I see it, Mom.
Right there, Mom. Right there. I see a potato. Oh no, right here. This is fun.
this is like digging for treasure.
That's what I said in my very first one.
Digging for gold.
Oh, never mind. That was a leaf.
The potato.
Oh, I saw an old. Yeah.
That is so cool. Two potatoes turned
Still one more bucket too.
Yep.
This thing's gonna be pretty much filled up.
Yeah, that's cool.
Oh, little ones.
How do you get them big old potatoes?
It's just the way it grows.
Oh,
Are these considered like the gold potatoes?
Yep.
I love those. They're my favorite.
These are organic Yukon Golds. I just bought them from the grocery store. And if you are going to use grocery store produce to reproduce, they have to be organic.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Because they put a coating on potatoes to keep them from sprouting,
Oh,
and you want them to sprout,
yeah.
obviously.
That's so cool. So how many buckets of potatoes have you already gotten?
I had all of these were 8 of them.
I was killing them by flipping them.
They've been tasting good?
God, they're so good.
I don't like those. I only like them when they're in French fry form.
You don't like roasted potatoes or anything like that? Weird. I love a good roasted potato with
That's
some
what we
rosemary.
had for dinner
and
last night.
stuff.
'Cause Mark called me. He goes, "You have plans for dinner?" And I go, "No." He goes, "Well, I was going to cook some chicken wings." I said, "Are you asking me to stop and get French fries?" And he goes, "Well, whatever." I was like, "Wait a minute. I'll just come home and empty a bucket and we'll have roasted potatoes."
Yeah. That's so cool. I bet it feels good too.
It's
Having
very
your own.
satisfying.
That's a lot of bugs.
Hold the bowl.
And how many bucks did you do? 4?
No, I did 8.
Just now?
Oh, 4. Yeah, this is 4. That's my total.
Isn't this cool?
That's so good. Well, yeah, I'll leave it in here and let it dry out.
Do you kind of hose them down out here, get all the dirt off, or?
I think we'll have to put it in the sink. If you're doing long-term storage, you don't.
Got a bucket of taters.
So far, I've gotten 3 pounds out of 4 buckets. I'm curious to see what I get out of 4 buckets.
Yeah.
Okay, so I went ahead and harvested the other 4 buckets of potatoes, and this is what we got. And this weighs 4 pounds and 5 ounces. If you add that to the potatoes that I picked last night, sorry, didn't bring you along with this. I just emptied the buckets just so we can have dinner. And the 2 buckets I had emptied prior, we ended up with a 3-pound bag. Liam wants to say hi, guys. Say hi. And there's Gabriel. So out of the 3-pound bag of organic yellow Yukon potatoes that we got from Walmart, we ended up with 7 pounds and 4.5 ounces. So we more than doubled that 3-pound bag we got from the grocery store. Is this something I will do again? Definitely. And I can't wait till I can actually have a storage room so I can actually grow a whole year's worth of potatoes. That's the goal I'm aiming for. But right now, I'm okay. 3 pounds of store-bought potatoes into 7 pounds and 4.5 ounces. I'm very happy. So we got potatoes for the next couple weeks that we can enjoy. Okay, so the husband requested meatloaf. So we're going to make meatloaf. So these are some homemade bread cubes that I dried, and I'm going to add some milk to this. So I'm going to use our raw cow milk. Just going to add a little bit in there. This is going to make a panade. I just want to get that in the milk so we can break it up and make our panade. We're going to crumble the bread into the milk. If you have breadcrumbs, that will work just fine. All right, we're just going to let that sit in there for just a bit. Our bread cubes have soaked up all the milk. This is what we want. I'm just breaking them up into smaller pieces, just so we're not biting into a big old bread cube when we eat our meatloaf. I have the oven heating up to 350 degrees. We're going to put our ground meat. You can use pork, beef, turkey, chicken, a combination. This is turkey. One of Tammy's farm fresh eggs. We're going to put a good pinch of salt. This is Redmond's real salt. A good pinch of pepper. I have some onion powder and garlic powder. We're going to put about a teaspoon of each. And we're going to put some Worcestershire sauce. Maybe a teaspoon or two. Alright, let's get in here and mix this up. Now you don't want to overwork your meat because that makes it tough. We just want to get everything mixed up. The breadcrumbs, the milk, the egg, the salt and pepper. Alright, that looks good to me. Let me clean up, wash my hands, and I'll be right back. Our dinner rolls have not risen in height, but it did spread out. We're going to have these for dinner anyway. They're going in the oven. Got some olive oil. Just swish that in there just a bit. Okay, let's get our meatloaf mixture in here. Let's make it into a beautiful little loaf. That looks good. Wash the hands. I have aluminum foil on it. We're going to put that in the oven until it reaches 170 degrees. Alright, meatloaf's in the oven, the dinner rolls are in the oven. Let's check on these dinner breads. Oh yeah. They're flat. They look more like biscuits, but I need to work on this recipe a little bit better, but they're done. They took 30 minutes. And the meatloaf is still cooking. But I need to go ahead and get started on the macaroni and cheese. The water has come up to a boil. Let's go ahead and liberally salt this water. And I have 8 ounces of, can you see that? Of these little bitty tortellini pasta. And I'm just going to cook that for a few minutes. Because they're so small, we don't have to cook it that long. And then we're going to go ahead and get started on our cheese sauce. I know you can't see me, but you can hear me. I'm going to go ahead and take the aluminum foil off the meatloaf while it's continuing cooking. Our pasta is up to a boil. We're going to let it cook for about 5 or 6 minutes. It's about 2 tablespoons of butter. So I have a bag of our sharp cheddar cheese that we grated this morning. I have a little bit of taco cheese left over from the crackers. Then I have these 2 packages of dried regular cheddar cheese. I'm just going to throw it in there. Yep, it's going to be cheesy, but that's okay. Just getting the butter melted in here. Using a whisk. We're going to add 2 tablespoons of flour. I have our raw milk. Probably going to be about 2 cups. Yep, that was 2 cups. Add some salt. Some pepper. If you have white pepper, this will be a perfect application for that. I do not. Let's go ahead and start adding our cheese. This is the sliced cheddar cheese that we had in the freezer that we took out to make burgers. And it's a little dry because I didn't properly wrap it. That's okay. We're just going to throw it in here. This is another pack I had in the freezer. Don't even know why. It's okay. It's all going in here. Taco cheese that we had left over from making our crackers. This is going to be super cheesy. And this is the sharp cheddar cheese that we grated up this morning. I'm going to turn it down to a medium low. Let all this cheese melt and get all inside this. This deliciousness. Alright, we need to taste it, see if we need to add any more salt or pepper. Okay, we need pepper and salt. Oh, that is really, really good. It's thickening up. Absolutely beautiful. I am going to add just a little bit of garlic powder. Maybe a half a teaspoon. I don't know if those hard bits are going to melt in here, but that's okay. We're using what we got. Have nothing go to waste. It's okay. Let's give it one more taste. Can you see that? Look at that cheesiness. Perfect. But I am going to add one more ingredient in there. I'm going to add just a pinch of crushed peppers. Alright, burner off. Adding the pasta. That is so beautiful. Just going to set that aside. Let's take a temperature of our meatloaf. And because I'm using ground poultry, it's not going to brown like ground beef or ground pork. It has a very lower fat. So it's at 150 degrees, so we're not ready yet. So back in the oven it goes. So I got our garlic out of the freezer and they are perfectly frozen. I have my Ziploc bag labeled. And that's perfectly portioned garlic. And whenever we need garlic, we'll just grab one of our little pucks and it's ready to go. That's pretty convenient. Back in the freezer, this is going. So this was a very, very productive day. And we got dinner. Let's taste the meatloaf. The husband's gonna be happy. So good. And some macaroni and cheese. To me, macaroni and cheese equals comfort. It's so good. The pasta still has a really good bite to it. And our flat dinner rolls, but it's okay. Perfect. It's a little dense, but it's good. Overall, the flavor is really good. So I just want to say thank you very much for hanging out with me today while we got some garlic pucks and some onions diced and in the freezer, so we didn't lose those for going bad. We shredded that sharp cheddar cheese we got on the last Azure haul, and we made dinner. We have meatloaf, macaroni and cheese, and some dinner rolls that we had in the freezer. So if you don't mind, go ahead and give this video a thumbs up. While you're at it, hit that subscribe button where we take basic kitchen techniques and we turn it into a delicious meal. Oh, and our potatoes. We went ahead and emptied out the last 4 buckets of potatoes and I end up with a little bit over 4 pounds right here. I am excited. So get in that kitchen, start cooking for your family food made with real ingredients. Yes, there's going to be failures. Yes, there's going to be some flops. But yes, there will be some success. So get in there, you guys. Cook for your family. So, thanks for hanging out with me today. Y'all have a blessed day. Bye, family. I'm just going to eat my dinner.